quick before people jump on. Doesn't seem to work the way I want it to. One does it ever. And let me change the title a little bit. I think I should be able to do that. First of all, let's get that going. This chat about topics we disagree on. It's okay to have different opinion. Let's see how that works out. Hey, it's saved. Yay, there's much rejoicing. So now, let me go to demo. There we go. View my channel. And let's start off with a poll. There's a poll. Alrighty, just for a little fun. Just for a little fun. And we'll wait until some people actually start joining in. You never know when that'll happen. We're going to cook up some breakfast. And I mean breakfast. So first of all, let's get this moved to where I can see it better and not tie myself up here. So we're going to, first of all, cook some bacon. Bacon, bacon, bacon. I can see my cousin has responded. And she may or may not popped in. We'll find out. Yeah, look at her response without losing everything. I'll find out. I got an okay. Looks like everything was still rolling. There we go. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those doggies going right. So, I'm going to kind of chat for a little bit, hoping that some people will actually join in. I do have it on the vertical mode. And the topic of discussion today will be, it's okay to have different opinions. Okay, it's okay to have different beliefs. All right, it's okay to, think something's right and something's wrong. And you should be able to talk about it without everybody getting all excited about it. And unfortunately, that seems to be the problem. Now, a lot of times in the social media world, that problem is accelerated or made larger because of a few things. Number one, you're not face to face. So when we're not face to face, we tend to be braver. I refer to them as keyboard warriors. I even made a song about it. When people sit there and talk tough over a keyboard or behind a computer screen. And it goes to the tune of Rhinestone Cowboy. Or I think it is. But he's a keyboard warrior. So very brave behind the computer screen. He's a keyboard warrior. Embarrassing mama when he's not very keen. I have other verses too. But I would do that when people would talk tough to me on social media and I'd be going, okay, those are so very tough because you're not face to face. When you're face to face, you talk different. So, a friend of mine on YouTube that I follow, and I have been following for quite some time, and I think he's a good guy in that. Put out a video today that's probably going to get him a little hate. Not from me, but I'm sure there's people out there that are going to get excited about it, especially people that don't know him. And then there's probably going to be, I'm sure Max Dean will say something. But I thought I'd kind of have a discussion about it, a rebuttal, so to speak. All right. And say it's okay to have a rebuttal, it's okay to have a different opinion. So, you know, he was starting to talk about being on the bus driver, and I'll be honest with you, that's a job I'd have a hard time doing. Only because I think your hands are so tied. But what you can do to keep the kids in line versus what it was like when I was on the bus a long time ago. Get on the bus. But then he wandered and started talking about religion. And I always said, don't mistake religion and faith. And you're like, well, isn't that the same thing? You know, not really. Not really. A religion is a base premise on what you're supposed to be believing, and why you're believing it. And your personal faith is how you believe it, and how you practice it. Is it kind of the same thing? Yeah. But there are some different schematics there. So, there's a lot of people who claim to be, you know, devout Christians and things like that, but the way they act or their actions don't align with it. That's all right. You know, the actions of few do not define the many. Regardless of what CNN and the other news feeds would like to make you think. And that's one of the problems with social media, is you are seeing the actions of a few, and they're making a judge on the many. So, person has a problem with Catholics or Christians or whatever it is. And that's all right. I've got a problem with a few of them myself. But he said that he was an atheist, and he used another big word which I'm going to have to look up. I've heard it before, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I'm very bad at pronouncing big words. But I do want to look it up. And I think he's a good person. I think he has a great set of values. You know, and whether he believes it or not, you know, doesn't define if he's a good person or a bad person.
I'm sure he is. Don't mind me.
For an hour, I could have had this place to myself. Now that I'm doing something, now you gotta come around. The cat's gonna be in here next. I'm cooking bacon and eggs. So he says he's an atheist. I know another person that said she was atheist, and I think she's a very good person too. So just because you have a religion, or you're a Catholic or Muslim or Mormon or Buddhist or whatever it is, that alone does not make you a good person. Now hopefully it gives you the premise and helps guide you in the right way. This is my opinion. Agree or disagree, that's fine. But I think what makes you a good person is your actions and how you treat each other and how you treat yourself. Like treat yourself, yeah. You have to treat yourself well before you can treat anybody else well. Everybody says, well, I just sit there and slave over everybody else. I don't do nothing for me. Well, stop doing it, because you're gonna start really not liking what you're doing for other people. You have to be good to yourself too. But I just wanted to put this out there to the individual, is that, I'm a Catholic. Am I a perfect Catholic? No. I try to be a good person. Do I have good days and bad days? Yep, just like everybody else. I do try to lead by example. By no means am I perfect. And I'm always self-criticizing to seeing how I can improve myself. And if you're kind of hung up towards one group or another, it may be just you're running into the wrong people who are being examples of that group. And you're thinking that it's the group and not the individual. Yeah, I put their actions on the individual. I sit there and judge persons by their action. Yeah, if somebody is behaving poorly, I don't say it because of they're a Christian or because they're a Muslim or because they are whatever. I put it on them. They're behaving poorly because of themselves. Now, there are always radicals. There are some that encourage violence, and those I have a problem with. My feeling is lead by example. Try to be good to yourself. Try to be happy. And don't be the useful tool, as I call it, of a movement. Whatever that movement will be. I've watched a few people become a tool of movements by falling for the propaganda, which started out with some true statements, but ignored some other major events. Right? And I'm not going to go into it. There's more than one of them out there. We see them out there every Saturday. This person bad, this person bad. Well, on Saturday, I'm spending it with my wife. Going out and having a few drinks, listening to good music, having good food, and enjoying life. All right, I go out and take walks in the sun, I go down trails, parks. I do things that are enjoyable. Like, you're not going to see me out there being a useful tool, and that's what you are. You're a useful tool of somebody who doesn't care about you. We'll just put it that way. They really don't care. But you fell for their propaganda. You fell for what they were trying to feed you. And there you are, out on your weekend. Now, some of you may not have a job, but on a beautiful day at times, and you got bussed in from a central location, you may or may not got paid, and you're getting into people's face for something that has no effect on you. It's ridiculous. You really should be ashamed of yourself. My opinion. Now, if you disagree, that's great too. And you can have that in a normal conversation. But I see how these people act. And they act poorly. And I kind of see what the demographic is. All right. And it's not just an age group, it's all age groups. And I'm trying to tell that demographic, you gotta find something better to do with your life. And if you find something better to do with your life and you start enjoying your life, you find that you won't be subject to these people that are making an action foolishly. And you are, just telling you. You have to sign that you didn't make. Yell at somebody that's not a threat to you, never was. Believe in a premise that's not true. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, folks. You're being played. That's all there is to it. And then you get social media, especially things like TikTok. It's even worse. I mean, there's people say stuff just to get you upset to respond. That's all they do it for. They're doing it for the clicks. They want the money. And it's effective. There's a young lady out there that just says some of the most ridiculous things. I didn't give my parents permission to have me, so I'm going to sue them. Ah, hell you are. Shut the hell up. And then you'll see her come out about every month with another ridiculous statement, and everybody gets on her calling her names. Well, that's how she makes her money. Then there are some out there that actually have some good content, and they're trying to get you out some real information. They're few and far between. And if they are getting out the real information, there's a certain group out there that will sit there and just keep reporting them so they get their channel closed and they have to start all over again. But that's another thing. You can't have discord with these people. So you lie and report them and you try to get them abandoned. And you think that you are, boy. So the eggs are having a little problem coming out of the carton here. These are the ones I got for 50 cents. And if I have to throw some out, it's fine because, well, I got them for 50 cents. So it's not like it's, there we go. Not like it's an expense, because it isn't. There we go. And I talked to the guy that marked them down at the store. I said, did you think you really needed to go to 50 cents? I mean, you had about 30 dozen you had to get rid of. I said, you probably could have marked them for $2 or $3 and they would have went just as quickly. He goes, well, I just wanted to make sure they went because they had to be sold by the end of the month. I said, well, no problem. I'll take advantage of it. I bought 6 dozen. So this is my, we'll call it my second breakfast. Because I had a shake earlier that I dumped 3 eggs in. So that was getting the calories. So after this gets digested, I'll head to the gym. I did turn on the app for work, but nothing popped up. Oh, if you're wondering about the poll, I put out a video earlier this morning, but I'll cover it again. So at work, manager's like, well, they're going to make some changes, and they're going to move people around. And he kept glancing at me, and I said, well, you know, myself and one other were the ones with the least seniority in that shift, so it wasn't going to be any surprise when he followed me after the meeting to have a chat. So they want to move me, well, not that they want to move me, they are moving me to 3rd shift. So right now I'm on 2nd shift, so I work 2 in the afternoon till 10 at night, which is a shift I don't mind. And they're gonna move me to third shift, just 10 at night until 6 in the morning. Which is when I do mine. I don't like that shift. It doesn't sit well with me, and I don't adjust to it well, unfortunately. But it's going to be my shift. So I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You know, so here's my options. And there's a lot of options. You know, number one is grin and bear it and just keep working until I decide to retire. And try to adjust with it. You know, I'll probably work out right after work. You know, try to get some things done and then probably go to bed around 12 noon and get up about 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening and then go to work. So, I mean, if I can do it, it's just, it's not the schedule I like to do. And then the real kicker is on the weekends. All right. You know, the missus and I like to go out probably around 3, 4 in the afternoon. And then we're usually home by 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So now, you know, my short weekend, surviving behind liberal lines. Good day, everyone. How we doing? Welcome to the channel. There we go. So anyway, my options are to, you know, go find another job. I guess that's not what I necessarily want to do. Or, oh yeah, fresh bacon from the meat market. So I buy my meats local. I buy my eggs local. No tariffs. Tariff-free zone. Pretty much everything that I buy for us to eat originated here in the States. And I try to buy stuff that has less processed foods in them. So I recently just switched over to natural peanut butter. All right, because when I looked at what regular peanut butter had in there, it wasn't good. Now, no GMO, I don't know what that actually means. And this is a product out of Orville, Ohio. And its ingredients is peanuts. That's its ingredients, peanuts. All right, when you look at other brands, so here's Skippy, since I'm just about done. Ingredients, roasted peanuts, hydrogenized vegetable oil, cottonseed, soybean, and rapeseed oil. Not good stuff. Not stuff that you want in there. Let me refresh my feed here and see what happens. It's like I'm missing some of my chats here. What I'm seeing, well, that must just be a poll. All right. So anyway, so I just switched over to natural peanut butter, and I use peanut butter a lot in my protein shakes. But I also like peanut butter sandwiches too. To me, it's a good source of protein. So here I'm just doing I'm gonna scramble some eggs up and bacon, pretty simple. And you know, when it's on the weekend, the wife will make toast. But generally during the week, I try to stay away from that. And later on, I'll do a workout. Today I'm going to do back and arms. I'll be doing arms about 3 days a week, maybe 4. We're going to try to get the arms pumped up because Mama wants me to wear tighter shirts. Now, I'll take this to the gym, but I might have a different shirt to work at. To work because of, well, that. And be like, gee, Wally, I wonder why they want to randomized drug test me again. I don't do drugs. But this is Operation 1620. Hey, Ray. There we go. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and work a little bit early and talk to Human Resources. There are some things some information I want to go out before I make a decision. Because when they told me about what's happening, they asked me if I had any questions. I said, well, not at this time. Said, I got to digest this a little bit first. Yeah, you just can't start spouting off right at the get-go because, well, you don't have enough information. So first of all, I want to see when am I going to be fully invested in my 401k, because there's some money there I don't want to leave behind. But I guess I ought to look at the ingredients before I get home. Yeah, and I don't know, but yeah, I was watching some videos where the guy was going to the store and showing what's in all this stuff. So I'm changing my mind about a lot of things. Probably with the mayo, I'm going to go to the mayo that's made with olive oil. That's supposed to be the best. I do like Miracle Whip, and that's the worst of them. So I just had my carotid artery scanned, and it was all good. My brother had that done late last year, and it wasn't, and he had to have one cleaned out, so that makes me feel better. So if I'm close to being fully vested in my 401k, then it might been maybe the good Lord's, because I'm not an atheist, the good Lord's way of telling me maybe it's time to move. So I am looking at what's available in Missouri in an area that I'm interested in. And I'm also looking at what I can use to do to survive. HR sucks ass. Yeah, I'm just getting information from them. I just want to know, you know, I'm 3 years now with the company. How far is their part of the investment am I vested in? Because, you know, they only send me like a report once a year. Now I'm sure there's a website I can look at, and they'll probably direct me to that, and that's fine too. I mean, I can't do anything about their decision because it's union and it's done by, solely done by seniority. And me, this other gentleman who's also affected, and he's not as happy as I am about it. We both came in at the same time. And we knew on that shift we were the low man on the totem pole, so you know, it wasn't any surprise when we started talking about it. And for the last 3 months, they've been doing a lot of training for resumes and training for how to do interviews. So I said, wow, they're doing a lot of training for in case you needed to get another job. So I can't say I was surprised in that. And the only thing I could think of is there was a full-time job on first shift that I probably should have went for. I don't know if I would have got it, but at least it hopefully would have helped me on this scenario. It's kind of the double-edged sword of being a union. You know, the union does protect you on a lot of things. But then again, everything is, yep, A1 is used on eggs. It's not used on steak. If you use A1 on steak, you don't have a good steak. Either you don't know how to cook it, or you bought a bad piece of meat. That's my opinion. And I strongly believe in it. Breakfast, John. have a dilemma. So if I am busted, then I might look at selling the place and moving out to Missouri, where the taxes are considerably less. Where if possible, depending on how things go, so maybe I have to work as hard. I still have my job from the delivery service, which makes pretty good money. French fries, never tried it, French fries. Interesting. Bacon from the Genoa meat market. Good stuff. So we got up early today, had first breakfast, played around, did my little walk, took a nap, which I find late morning naps are very helpful. You know, so, or find another job around here. Now, the bad side of going to a different job is it takes time to earn time off. You know, so right now, I got 3 weeks a year vacation, paid vacation. I got 50 hours Y time paid. It's pretty sweet. And then when you go in a new job the first year, you don't have any vacation. And then next year, depending on the job, you might have 1 or maybe 2 weeks. So I guess you just don't know. Those are the things I have to weigh too. I got time invested already. So what I'm thinking, and I think they're doing it because they know some people are gonna probably quit. They spent a lot of time hiring. And their turnover was pretty high. And I'll blame the interviewers for that. And we're on the one ship that works the best. You know, and how they're gonna mess with it. So, oh yeah, then, you know, there's always that too. Where, when I was a kid, I worked at a dealership, you know, doing the oil changes and wash rack. And the week before the union would have invited me in, they laid me off. It would have been a significant pay increase. So that kind of didn't sit well. And they do that. I'm sure they sat with HR and talked about it for months and how they're going to do this. And they haven't even told me what job I'm doing. So I don't even know if I'm doing the same job or not. Oh, absolutely. Losing weight and getting jacked. Jacked is being looking strong, not necessarily being strong. First of all, to lose weight, you gotta clean your diet up. I don't care how much you work out. If you have a poor diet, you're gonna have poor results, period. You can't keep eating garbage and expect to lose weight. Say, well, I'll just work out an extra 20 minutes. Doesn't work that way. So what you need to do is clean your diet up. And I always say it, do it in steps. So if you're drinking soda, that'd be the first thing I get rid of, sodas. If you're drinking those monster drinks, get rid of them. They're loaded with sugar and other bad things. If you like ice cream, fine. Eat it early in the day. Don't have it at night. When you have it at night, get all that sugar in you, then you go to bed. Make for a poor sleep. So you gotta clean up your diet first. And then work out. You wanna get jacked? You know, there's exercises that do that. If you've noticed, I'm doing a lot of higher rep exercises for my arms and shoulders. But I want to build them up, not necessarily in strength, but I want to get them more defined. And that's why I'm doing it. Oh, that felt good. Good food. You know, I got enough food at work. I got the 4 yogurts. And probably enough to make 3 sandwiches. So I'll be sitting pretty good there. And the whole idea is try to eat more meals during the day to keep your metabolism up. So if you eat a big breakfast and then you eat a big dinner, what happens is that it kind of makes you lazy and sluggish, where you'd be better off doing 4 medium-sized meals. Two or 3 pounds a month weight loss is a win. Slow and steady. When they say, in 90 days, you'll drop, 60 pounds. Yeah, you might. You'll gain it right back. But you didn't do it slowly. So, losing a couple pounds a month is great, as long as you keep losing a couple pounds. That's the best way to do it. Now, there will be a time, if you're getting jacked, that you might get on the scale and go, wow, I didn't lose any weight this month. Not a bad thing. You may have just may have lost 2 pounds of fat and put on 2 pounds of muscle. So that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that either. There's we follow each other on Facebook, that over the last 2 years, he's dropped 170 pounds. Yeah, and he's doing a lot of cardio, and he's cleaned up his diet. So he still has some weight to lose, but he's like 400 pounds when he first started. But he stayed with it. And that's the key. You have to stay with it. If you don't stay with it, you're back where you're at. That's with anything. People ask, well, how can you still lift those heavy weights? Because I never stopped. And anytime that I get a setback, it takes a while to get back to it. But the thing of it is, you have to sit there and go back and get back to it. If you don't, then you're going to get to the point where you're comfortable not getting it, and then your mindset goes away. My desire is to stay at that 405 bench for as long as I possibly can. So I'll be happy when I get back to it. I put up 380 yesterday, or the day before. And I was very happy with it. And I'll probably try to do a heavy bench session tomorrow, whether I do it in Troy or whether I hook up with Matt at Fitness Premier in Pontiac. Either way, that's my plans. Always got to have a plan. So with that, I'm gonna let the food digest for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna head to the gym. I was just kind of surprised that I got to the point where the lightweight deadlift caused my lower back to hurt. It shouldn't have. It's recovered. I'll bring my belt and we'll go at it again. So with that, I didn't really go into much detail with all the stuff that I thought I was going to. No, that's fine too. It's okay to have different opinions about stuff, you know, whether it's politics, religion, or just life goals and that. And you should be able to talk about it in a calm manner. And the whole idea is to talk about it just to learn more about each other's thoughts on that. You know, how we were raised and things that happen in our life and things that are happening in our lives. It has a lot to do with why people feel a certain way. The only thing I would tell you is just don't be the useful tool or useful idiot, as I call it, of any political party or any cause. God, I'm part of this cause. No, make your life and your enjoyment in life your cause. It's another scream in somebody's face with holding a sign that you didn't make is not a life. Just my opinion. All right, I got better things to do, more enjoyable things to do, and that's what I do. So with that, I'll sign off. Remember, rest, nutrition, proper exercise. When I say nutrition, proper nutrition, hydration, walks in the sun, go have fun, and just get in the gym and lift. Everybody have a wonderful day.